Hello, my lovely clients. Guess what? You are seeing this video, so you know what time it is. It is time for us to do our quarterly check-in for the last quarter 4 of 2025. I cannot believe how fast this year flew by, but I wanted to make sure that I send you a video, give you some things to focus on for your finances as we go into the new year 2026 and help you to reflect on what happened in 2025. So let's hop in and get started. For this quarter's check-in, we are going to be doing things a little bit differently. I am going to be reading from an article that our company actually releases quarterly for our clients. And as your money coach, one of my goals for next year is when I send you these quarterly videos to also send you the newsletter, because it will support the points that I am suggesting you to focus on for that quarter and also give you something tangible to read and hold on to, recite back to, while you are going through the quarter and accomplishing your goals. One of the first things discussed in the newsletter is a question, and it's asking, are you ready to retire? And I actually want to expand that a little bit and take a second to discuss a career pivot as well. And these 4 categories are things that you need to check on to really answer that for yourself. Maybe, you're looking at the career landscape or the career path that you've been in for a while and you're considering a change or a pivot, or your job is in jeopardy and you need to find another solution before they fire you. So these are some questions that you want to ask yourself, that you want to review for yourself to answer the question, am I financially prepared for whatever comes next? Number 1 is, have you taken time to look at your numbers? If you don't have a clearly laid out budget for how much it costs for your bills and cost of living every month, if you don't have a picture on what your debt looks like or your credit utilization, if you don't know your numbers, how much it will actually take to retire or how much your cost of living will be in retirement, that's step 1. And it doesn't make sense to stress or worry about the other things if we haven't taken time to actually look at the numbers and where we're currently at right now. And again, this is something we can do together as your money coach. Number 2 is consider supplemental income in retirement or while you're transitioning. Find things that we know can fill in the gap as cost of living is continually going up. So what are ways that we can find supplemental income, whether it's a side gig, a side hustle, putting money into a passive income stream, or whatever that looks like to you? Let's take time to think about it and talk that out. Number 3 is considering healthcare costs. One of the hugest things that deplete people's retirement savings after they already retire is healthcare costs, medical costs. People wildly underestimate how much it costs to get medical care later in life. As we know, a lot is going on right now in our country when it comes to Medicare, healthcare. So take time to understand your current plan, make sure that you are getting all the benefits that you need. Keep your options open and keep your eyes on how much medical costs could be creeping up as you are approaching retirement or a career pivot. And number 4 is, of course, to tackle debt. If you have any high interest bearing debt or variable interest debt, and what that looks like, it means your APY is subject to change. Think of it like this. If you were in a sinking ship and you had multiple holes in the bottom of your ship, you want to plug the biggest hole first, right? So we want to tackle the place where the most water is coming into your ship first. And what that looks like when it comes to debt is tackling your largest interest-bearing debt first. And again, reach out to me because we can come together and set up a debt elimination strategy that lets you know exactly what debt you need to tackle first, second, third, how much you need to pay every month, and give you a realistic timeline that gives you an actual end date, month and year of when you will be debt-free. We just have to get the numbers behind it to support that. So again, those 4 things, if you are considering retiring soon or a career pivot, is to know your numbers, plan for supplemental income, Make sure you are aware and conscious of your healthcare costs. Consider alternatives that might be more affordable. And lastly, have a plan to tackle debt. If you address all four of these things, that will definitely make your transition to retirement or your new career much smoother. Okay, so now we are on page 2 of the newsletter, and it starts off by talking about inflation. So, we all know that we're feeling the real effects of inflation in real time, and there's a certain level of controlling the things that we can control and accepting the things that we can't control. Inflation, tariffs, cost of living rising astronomically are the types of things that we can't control. But what we can do is understand how they are impacting us and make a plan to address the things, right? There's a really cool visual on the second page that looks at what $10,000 today will look like in the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, right? So if you want the same buying power that $10,000 or $1,000 or $100 has today, that means that you need to save and invest more in the future because that buying power will be less. Not to mention that it says right there on the right hand side of page 2, 2/3 of US adults named inflation as their top concern for 2025. And unfortunately, as we go into 2026, I think that is just going to be felt even more. So here are the solutions and things that I want you to do to understand inflation, how it impacts you, and make a plan. Most importantly, whatever amount of money that you have sitting, whether that be your emergency money or money that you might be saving for a special occasion, make sure that that account is earning an interest rate that is at least keeping pace with or beating inflation. If you check, for example, your savings account at the bank and it's a 0 point something percent for the APY, you need to make a change. You need to be utilizing, for example, a high yield savings account, or reach out to me and we can start an investment account depending on what the money needs to be used for in the timeline. But you need to be putting your money in a space where it can be growing and accumulating and working for you and not being eaten up by inflation. So now we are on to page 3 of the newsletter, and it really focuses on the average credit card balance by generation. And I actually found this data very interesting. It breaks it down from Gen Z all the way to the silent generation. It not only looks at the average credit card debt or balance, but also looks into how many credit cards on average people have. And I want to say this. I'm not going to be the type of money coach who's going to tell you don't use your credit cards. A lot of people are in a position right now where they are strapped for cash. They're working as hard as they can, maybe even have a full-time job or more than one stream of income, and it's just not enough. So we have to use credit cards to juggle bills or get through the month. And here's one strategy that I want to give you. I talked earlier about paying off your highest interest-bearing debt first. Right? So if you have more than one credit card, try to utilize the one with the lowest interest rate and put it all on that one while you're focusing on paying off the other credit cards or other debts that exist. Will we eventually get to that credit card and pay it off? Yes, but we can't pretend like the situation is not what it is. So have a strategy that is actually realistic to pay things off, and then we can cross the bridge once we get there. The thing that I really want you to stay away from and be aware of when it comes to credit is those buy now, pay later, the chasing points, the travel points, all those things. Understand that these are psychological ploys. There are literally people who get paid 6-figure incomes to find out how to make you spend more money and pay them back, the bank back, more in fees. Okay, so to the best of your ability, and I know that's hard to say if you are in a place where income is inconsistent, I understand, but to the best of your ability, utilize, again, the lowest interest bearing credit card, pay off all the other credit cards, then we can tackle that last one. but have a actual strategy that is getting you towards paying it off. And don't just be the person who says, well, I just can't do it right now, I can't figure it out. Taking one step in the right direction is better than doing nothing about it. So this quarter's newsletter ends with this. It ends with a section that talks about, oops, I forgot to save for retirement. And I think that's what a lot of people say often when it comes to saving and saving any money, but especially for retirement, right? Because it feels like this far away thing or something that's not right on my radar right now. And right now I just got to worry about paying my bills and keeping food in the fridge and keeping clothes on my back. And all of that is important, right? But the truth of the matter is, if you never get to paying yourself first, which means saving and investing money before you pay bills, you're never going to see growth and accumulation in your retirement, and you will be in a very sticky situation later on in life. If you work with me, your money coach, we can set up a Roth IRA, for example, or just a regular brokerage account where you can save and invest money, or any other form of retirement account, and set up an auto draft. So even if it's as little as $25 a month, $50 a month, there is something being contributed to these spaces before we get to paying our bills and spending the rest of the money for the things that we enjoy. And I'm not telling you to not do that. I actually read a study recently that was focusing on the psychology of spending, and a lot of the time we impulsively spend after we pay our bills because it feels so bad to have spent all this time earning this money. Then we get paid, then we pay our bills, and we look and say, well, dang, I have nothing left for me. So we end up splurging on these little things that maybe it's food, or maybe it's an experience, or maybe it is something that we can keep over time. But is it adding value towards your life later? Will it help you in retirement? If the answer is no, then we can at least carve out a little piece of that and put that towards retirement. So remember, when it comes to saving and investing, or preparing for a goal, or preparing for retirement, just set it and forget it. Set up an auto draft so that you can pay yourself first, whether it's $25, $50, whatever you can afford every month. Make sure that you are automatically contributing to those accounts before you pay your bills, before you impulse spend and splurge. And remember, your later self, your future self is going to thank you. The last thing that I want to mention to you guys for the last video check-in of 2025 is, as we enter the new year, this is often a time where we're thinking about the goals that we want to accomplish in the new year, the things that we want to manifest, setting intentions for the new year. And I just want to encourage you to make your financial goals SMART goals. So basically, you want to make sure that you don't just say, I want to save more money this year. No, say specifically, I want to contribute $100 every month to my Roth IRA so that at the end of the year, I have $1,200 in my retirement account. That's important to me because I want to make sure that I live comfortably in retirement. So that would be an example of a SMART goal. So if we actually lay out exactly what we plan to do, the steps we plan to take to accomplish those goals, and why they are important to us, that is more likely that your goal will actually be accomplished. And if you need some support in setting a SMART goal for 2026, let's definitely set up a time for us to meet and discuss that more. So that is it, guys. I am so proud of you for making it to the end of 2025. And I'm just proud of you for still standing tall, even if you feel like you face some punches and some real troubles, trials, and tribulations throughout 2025. Just know that the new year will be even better, that I am speaking abundance, financial prosperity over you, and not am I only just speaking it over you, but I am embracing, holding you arm in arm to get there to what financial abundance and prosperity looks like for you. So make sure that following you, watching this video that you sign up for a free consultation with me. I would love to at least just hear from you, hear about some of the goals that you have going into 2026. That allows me to be a better coach for you. Even if you don't want to do a whole bunch of check-ins throughout the year, that's fine. Just give me a call or a text. Let me know what you're working on for this year. And I'm so excited to support you, even if I'm just the biggest cheerleader in your corner. Overall, I love you guys. Happy New Year. And I can't wait to meet with you in our next check-in. Bye.